Okay, so back to Aruch Rambam Bekius. We got here from looking at the king's mitzvos, the first, the essay being to write a second Sefer Torah. So we said, okay, let's look at the Sefer mitzvos. And the Sefer mitzvos took us to, we said that's in addition to his regular, the mitzvah for every male to write a Sefer Torah. So that took us to Sefer Aהבה, Hilchos Tefilin, Mezuzah, וספר Torah. That's the order, right? Yeah. And then we did the Sefer mitzvos on that. And then that took us to the pasuk of write for yourselves this song that is in. I don't think we did. No, we went straight to the Sefer mitzvos first. So then ve'ata kisu lechem es hashir hazos v'lamda es bnei Yisrael sima b'fihem manti hashir hazos le'ed b'nei Yisrael. So the Rambam said that the mitzvah is, since you can't write the Torah, the mitzvah is conceptually it really is to write this shira, but since you can't write the Torah in parshios, then you have to write the entire Torah, right? Which we said, I think, after shira, that's weird because clearly with mezuzah and tefillin, you write in parshios. Oh, you said it in shira? Okay, fine. But either way, it's a strange drashah. So then how did we get to, so we were doing the Torah Temimah on that pasuk, and that led us to his shita that that the mitzvah is kedei laharbos Sefer Torah b'Yisrael, right? And therefore, so first of all, he said that you're yotze if you inherit a Sefer Torah, but you're meshubach if you write a Sefer Torah, because then it's kibla misinai. But then he said that the move of like completing a Sefer Torah only works if you're commissioning a Sefer Torah from a sofer, because that is causing more Sefer Torah to come into Klal Yisrael. And then he quoted the thing with the Rosh Shita with the Sfarim, right? And said that it's mashma only if you buy Sfarim from the publisher, then that's equal to writing a Sefer Torah. But then we wanted to look at the first-hand source. We went to the Tur in Yoredea Simon Reish Ayin, not Ayin Reish, and the Tur said that, I'm just going to read the lashon of the Tur again. By the way, I think this is new, that this did not happen yesterday, or I clicked on something that I've never clicked on before, which is also weird, that they have Torah Scroll and Aruch next to each other.
I don't know.
Okay, maybe I just accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. Yeah. Okay, so Kasav Adoni Avi Harash Zal Shazel Lo Nemar Ela Ladoros Harishonim Shayu Kosvin Sefer Torah V'Lom Bimba. That was only for the early generations that wrote Sefer Torah and learned from them. Aval ha'idna shekosvin Sefer Torah u'menichem oso b'veis hakneses likros behem barabim mitzvos aseh al kol Yisrael asher yado masegas lichtov chumashet haTorah u'mishna u'gemara u'pirshem lahagos behen hu'ubanav. Okay, then mitzvahs ksivas haTorah hi kedei lilmod ba tichsiv limda. I keep on forgetting how to read that word. It's lamda, I think. V'lamada, teach it. That's been Israel. Sima b'fihem. Al yidei haGemara u'pirusha yeda pirush hamitzvos v'hadinin al burian. L'chein hein hasfarim sh'adam mitzuva l'chosvan v'gam shelo l'mochran im lo lilmod Torah v'lisa isha. So the Aruch brought two ways to read the Torah, which is either that he's saying the mitzvah of ksiva Sefer Torah, like writing a scroll, exists, and you can also fulfill it by writing Sfarim, or the other way is that no, this is really the way you do the mitzvah now, and which is to buy Sfarim or to write Sfarim. Yeah. Right.
They also read as in now not only have to write Torah, we also have to write Mishnah and Gemara.
Right. Yeah. So it's I don't know if he was saying that you have to do like all three in order to do it. Like it seems, because I mean, what is he gonna say? Like you're only yotze if you write like the entire Gemara, like smash whether he means like, producing stuff to learn from, but so the Aruch in Tess agrees with the second reading that this replaces the mitzvah and he brings convincing rayas. Okay, then he says in Yud Amnam Nirad Lan Yustaiti Dgam Laze in Anu Tzrichin, but you don't even need those rayas. Because he then says that the Rush and the Tur don't bring down the statement at all about af al pi shehinichlo avosav mitzvah lichtov mishalo. Okay, so they don't bring that down, and that's a little puzzling. V'nirli shepirshu pirish acher b'zeh. So he says that they gave another explanation for this, and I think this is where we stopped reading yesterday in the middle of this, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just want to look at the upshot here. Because he differentiates between the melech and the hedyot. And he says, Lazem mitarz to olam ha-hedyot mitzvah. Rak ha-melech mitzvah. Wait, was there supposed to be an ain there? Lazem mitarz to shtei Torahs ikar dekusha she'ein ha-hedyot mitzvah klal b'ksiv Sefer Torah. So the hedyot is not commanded to write the Sefer Torah at all. Lazem mitarz to olam ha-hedyot mitzvah. Rak ha-melech mitzvah b'shtei Torahs. Only the king is commanded in writing two. Because of the Sefer Torah lishmo. That's why it says that the king writes it for himself. Almash Amar Rabba Sha'aval Pi Shehinichu Lo Avosav Mitzvah Lichtov Mishalo Ifrich Mihabraisa Dirak Melech Lo Yisna'e Shalcherim V'Lo Hedyot V'Lechein Hishmitozeh. So he's saying that they omitted it because they don't hold that there's a halacha in everyone writing Sefer Torah, and he learns the sugya there, but we're going to skip that because it's Bekius. Okay. All right. Now this is the new part. Okay. Maybe we don't need this actually. If two people could be yotze, if they chip in for a Sefer Torah. Yeah, let's go back to the Torah Temimah. I just want to see if he says anything else about the Sefer. Okay, because we're not Bekian. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's go back to the Torah Temimah. Okay. So the Torah Temimah we read, and the last thing we read was Tahasam HaMitzvah Hi Rak HaLakicha V'Lo HaRiboy. That was by the by what? Because of Sefer Torah, Misrab Sefer Torah, Olam Mashenkin Bekone, Sefer Kfar Yeshna Ba'olam, Umuvan Hadavar Shebe by Esrog, right? By Esrog. Yeah, Hine Yisbar Lefize Dalfi de Kamilan Shagam Kone Sefer Torah Yotze de mitzvos Ksiva Sefer Torah. Even though we learned that you can be Yotze through buying a Sefer Torah, Imagia Bo Davar, if you correct something. Achze hu rak bekone misofer stam hakosav l'mechira mash inkin hakone mehabal bayis inamakay mitzvah zo b'tachlis. Okay, that we just summarized. V'chein yischayv l'fizem b'mash kasav l'poskim. There was manzeh yotzin etos kesivas sefer Torah gam bekinin hakumashim. Dezehu rak bekone mimadfis mash inkin bekone mibal bayis hakumavor. Right, that was where we stopped. B'hine eno mavur efo merumaz chiyuv kesivas kol haTorah b'lashon es hashira. Okay, all right, good. So it says it's not clear where it's alluded to of the writing of the entire Torah from the lashon of es hashira. Asher lefia hapashtus kai ashiras hazino. Right, pashtus is only talking about shiras hazino. Rambam perak zayin lachabez mistam kasav zelashanim. All right, so let's actually read it in the Rambam. Let's actually read. Yeah. Sometimes you got to do Rambam to understand the Torah Temimah, right? Mitzvos say al kol ish v'ish miYisrael lifto sefer Torah la'atmo. Shneimar v'ata kisvu l'chem es hashira hazos. Klomar kisvu es haTorah sheyesh ba shira zo. Lefi she'ein kosvin es haTorah parshios. V'alfa pi shehinich lo la'adam avosav sefer Torah mitzvah lichtov mishalo. V'im kasvu biyad. So mitzvah lichtov mishalo means that it's like mitzvah min hamuvchar. V'im kasvu biyado. I think so. V'im kasvu biyado harehu ki'ilu kiblu misinai. V'im eno yodea lichtov acharim kosvim lo. So no, it seems like there's yeah. Sorry. I'm projecting into the Rambam. He didn't say anything. Yeah, I don't know how to read this. So it's unclear right now, is that mitzvah like you have to do it or mitzvah like it's ideal? But the ideal part is if you write it with your own hand, then that's kilu misinai, and if not, then you're still yotze. V'chol megia sefer Torah afilu os achas harizeh kilu kasvo kula. Yes.
In the very presence of a kind of bidiyah that you don't know how to write. To me, in the case, therefore, it's like it's a mitzvah because it's just kind of like some ideal. It's like, why would this other level exist? Does it mean that this sounds like a kind of licha achila, you should write it, but if you are unable to, that you can. If as everybody read mitzvah is just an ideal that the whole. If you can't, you should get others to make them for you. Just feels like a weird.
Right.
One is I had to think about I had from my father, that means a lot of level.
Right.
The second part is I commission someone to create a new thing Torah, and then the highest level is I write it myself.
Right. And halachically, fixing one letter is equal to writing it yourself.
Sure.
Right.
Where are you?
Well, he says, Aval pi shehinich lo l'adam avosav sefer Torah. right? So that would be one level. Mitzvah lichtov mishala, that's a higher level. Then within that level is v'im kasvo biado, then that's kilu kibla misinai. And then v'im eno yodea lichtov, then others can write for you. So that's a subdivision within that one.
Where are you getting that if you write one letter, that's
V'chol hamagia b'sefer Torah afilo os achas harizeh kilu kasvo kula. Yeah, no, you just space out for that part maybe. Okay, and then hamelech mitzuva lichtov sefer Torah acher la'atmo l'shem melech. So the king is mitzuva lichtov. Yeah, so he's using the same lashon. Lichtov sefer Torah acher la'atmo l'shem hamelech. Yeser al sefer shahaya lo kishu hedyot. In addition to the one that he had when he was a hedyot. Shnemar v'haya kishifto al kisi mamlachto v'chasav lo. Umagian also misefer ha'azara al pi based in hagadol. So he Magian here, by the way, does not mean to correct. It means to check it against, right? I'd like to write it. Well, there's got to be like a term for that, of like writing it, transcribing it basically, right? From the Sefer Torah that's in the Azara. The one that he had when he was a hedyot, menicho beveis genazav, he could put it in his treasury. V'zesh kasav o shenichtav lo achar shemalach. The one he wrote, or that was written for him after he reigned, after he became king, that is with him constantly. Sefer Torah is imo. When he goes out to war, the Sefer Torah is with him. Nichnas, when he comes back in, it's with him. Yesha bedin, he sits in judgment, it's with him. Mesiv, if he's reclining, it's opposite him. It will be with him, and he will read it all the days of his life. Yeah. Yeah, so in I think it's the same, right? Kasvu, okay, Kasvu is a Torah, Sheish Ba Shirazo. Sorry, Kisvu. Shnemar, Viata Kisvu Elchem es Hashirazos, Kolomar, Kisvu es a Torah, Sheish Ba Shirazo. Okay, let's see. Let's see if he quotes it again here. No, he does not. So let me just keep this open and go back to, I always do that. Let me go back to Sefer Mitzvah. Do you remember which mitzvah it was? 18, okay. Oh, easy to remember. Let's actually look let's look at the Kafek this time. Or not the Kafek, whoever this translation is. I used to think that this is the Kafek, but it's not the same as the Kafek. All this talk about Kafek. Okay. Can't even get there. Okay, 18. Kafek says, we're not reading the whole thing in Kafek, but just the first part. Hativish nisviyoshihe l'chol zachar mimeno sefer Torah la'atmo v'im kasvo biyado harizeh meshubach me'od v'hush adif k'mosh amru kisvu malel kasvo kilu misina v'im efshar lo l'kasvo chayav hu al kopanim l'knoso o yimsor sheich kasvo lo hu amru kisvu l'chanes ashir azos l'fish asur lichtov es Torah parshios. So is that the part you were talking about?
Yeah, in the mission Torah he said,
yeah.
But in the Sefer Mitzvah it said Torah
let's see. Ella kavanaso ba'amro es hashira kol Torah hakolelas es hashira hazos. To me that sounds the same. I mean, it's not the exact same lashon. Okay, let's go back to Torah Temimah though. We've got to finish this Torah Temimah today. So that's his question, right? Where do we get this? Rambam Perak Zayin Halacha Beis Sefer Torah pasuk Mitzvos. This has got to be a typo. Sorry, I gotta do my civic duty. Okay. Mitzvos says Alko ish v'ish, etc., etc. So he says the whole thing. So the Havamina he's coming to refute is that you would only write Hazino, right? Because that's the plain shot of the pasuk. Well, he's saying that what it means is that you write the entire Torah that has the shira. Okay. On that, he's saying that it's impossible to explain it that way. Okay, so that's his explanation of what the Rambam is doing. Aval ladati inze maspi. That's not enough for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Ki im haisa kavanas kadosh baruch hu sheyihi lechol adam Yisrael itos imo shiras hazinu ksuva. If God's intent was that each Jewish man has a written out lechol adam is every man.
Want to be every person?
Yeah, but the mitzvah is every man. You said that. That was your question, but you can't deny what he's saying, right? Shiras hazino. So if you want each person to have shiras hazino, ksuba, written, inze bichlal ha'isr lichtov es Torah parshios. That's not included in the isr to write the Torah as parshios. Given the mitzvah miyuchedesi, it's its own mitzvah, right? That would be like saying that you can't write tefillin because it's also to write it parshios. No, right, yeah. Okay, Kumosh Kosin Parshas Tefillin, Mezuzah, the last one. V'lo Shamanu Miolam, Nidnud Isser Mi Isser Ksivas HaTorah, Parshios V'hainu Taima. Kevin de Beforish, Tzivsa HaTorah Lichos Vam, Kumosh HaShehem, V'Hachanami, Kain, V'Tarachion Gadol. Wait, is that okay? So he's totally agreeing with your question, though, right? He's totally agreeing with your question, right? Which is that once you have a mitzvah that commands you to write parshios, you can't say that that's usher, just like tefillin and mezuzah. So this wouldn't be usher. Okay, so let's see if he answers it. Umashneir lomar bezeh. Apiyam avur begitin samech amad aleph. Ufanenu besamach beperak chav zayin. Torah megillah nitna. The Torah was given as a scroll. Klomar kishene'emra parsha lemoshe hayakosva v'od parsha hayakosva. You get it in parshios. So he had all the parshios by the end of the 40 years. And therefore, now when he came to write Shiras Hazino, and that's what God was alluding to when he said, he was alluding to the fact that his days are drawing close to die, which is why he said, and now, Klomar, Ata shekvar nigmru kol parshios haTorah kisu od. Klomar, hishlimu es shiras hazinu, complete shiras hazinu, ukvarti haTorah b'shlei Musa, and then the Torah will be complete. V'lamda es haTorah es b'nei Israel, and teach the Torah to b'nei Israel. L'fizeh mimela mavor shemi'ikra hamitzvah lichtov es kol haTorah v'duk. Okay, so what he's trying to say is like this: God is not saying write this shira. He's saying now, with this shira, complete writing this Torah, and that is the mitzvah that was commanded the Doros, is to write the entire Torah. What do you think of that? Right, let me read that one more time. Klomar, ata shekvar nigmaru kol parshios haTorah, kisvu od, klomar hishlimu es shiras hazino, ukvar tiye haTorah b'shlei Musa, v'lamda es haTorah es b'nei Israel. So he's also reading the pasuk differently, not V'ata kisvu lechem es hashira hazos v'lamda shiras hazinu es b'nei Israel sima b'viyem. He's saying v'ata kisvu lechem es hashira hazos lahashlim es haTorah v'lamda es haTorah es b'nei Israel sima b'viyem. It says l'manti hashira hazos le'vi b'nei Israel. I mean, it's a tough read. I mean, I appreciate what he's trying to do.
Is there no one who
Yeah. Good question. I did mention that yesterday as something that I thought I remembered. I just want to look at. Yeah. Let me look at one more place, which is Haksava HaKabbalah. Now this might be too long. Oh, you don't know the Haksava HaKabbalah?
I don't know if I remember.
Okay, hold on. Let me find him, and I'm going to actually see if they have a summary of what he does, what he do. Rav Yaakov Mecklenburg. So he's part of that whole era of the opposing the emerging reform and the Refersh and the Chassam Sofer and the Malbim. So Mecklenburg lived through times of great social upheaval, including Jewish emancipation and the Haskalah and reform movements. Despite his anti-reform agenda, Rav Mecklenburg operated within a united Jewish community in Königsberg, where the reform community was relatively moderate. Okay, where's his work? So he wanted to write this book called Haksava HaKabbalah, which is also like an attempt to unify Torah B'Ksav and Torah Sheba'al Peh in one work, and then to show how Torah Sheba'al Peh was not like an invention and was seamlessly integrated with Torah B'Ksav. I'm not so knowledgeable in this, Yeah, I think so. But let me just see how long this is. Ooh. All right. Let me just see if he addresses the question. Pirush Rashi as you know Hashemaim ad ukvar ad maso Allah v'kipra ad maso amo. Pirush Rambam v'Rambam b'chabura reish Hilchos Sefer Torah kasav mitzvos, etc. Akan v'chein kasav b'sefer mitzvos shelo, chein kasav bal sefer chinuch whom amar mitzvah lift up Sefer Torah atmo shnemar v'yata kisvu lechem esashir azos v'zelashon harabag kvar nisbar achrazeh shashira hi divrei Torah bichlalusa atuma. That's where I was getting from the Ralbag. Let's see what the Ralbag says. Ralbag says kvar nisbar achrazeh shashira hi davar haTorah bichlalam atumam. So the shir is the Torah in its entirety. Shnemar v'yichtav Moshe es hashira v'hi kechalos Moshe liftav es divrei haTorah hazos al sefer atumam. V'zeh meir shashira hazos ratabo kol divrei haTorah bichlalam v'gam hashira imahem, and also this shira with him. Hinei yara shazehu inyan haTorah bichlala shnemar lakoch es sefer haTorah hazos v'samtem also mitzad aron bris Hashem. So the proof for this, I don't know how this proves it, is it says take this sefer Torah and place it mitzad aron bris Hashem. B'chein timsa achar zeh she'amar hakilu elai es rosh yeshivtechem v'shotrechem v'adabra b'oznehem es kol divrei devarim ha'ele. V'zeh davar eno roy sheyomar al divrei hashira levadam. He's clearly not talking about just this shira. Hine amar gam kein v'davar Moshe b'oznei kol kal Yisrael es kol divrei hashira hazos ad tumam. V'amar b'sof v'chal Moshe l'daber es kol hadvarim ha'ele el kol Yisrael. That's good raya, right? It says Moshe spoke to the Kol Yisrael all the words of this shira, and then afterwards it says, and Moshe finished speaking all the words, all of these words to Kol Yisrael, and that's talking about the entire. Imshu mina sheker shetadaktek haTorah b'limud hashira hazos l'chol Yisrael u'b'kzivasa yoser midikduka b'zeh b'shar hadvarim yoser hechrachim asher b'Torah asher b'Torah. So he's saying also it's crazy to say that God is going to be more medactic for you to write ha'azinu than the other things in the Torah that are more necessary than this. L'zeh haisa hatzava hazos shiktov kol echad sefer Torah la'atmo v'hashira imo. B'derech shelo yachzor mimenu davar me'advarim b'sefer haTorah. Hinitziva Moshe sheyilamda livnei Yisrael ratzon lamar levayer es mitzvoseha v'inyaneha b'derech shetiyeh sumas u'shegura b'fihem. So you should teach them so that it should be secure in their mouth. V'im amar omer shatzava haisa b'zeh hab'shir levad hinei yisbarim b'zeh b'kal b'chomer shekol shkein sheyichuyav b'zeh b'shar divrei Torah. So if you do want to say it's this shira, kal b'chomer the rest of the Torah. Okay, let me just see if Rav Mecklenburg says a little bit more. Where were we? Oh, Aksav HaKabbalah. And then I got to go. Aksav HaKabbalah. I also want to check Rav Hirsch. Okay, that's the Ralbag. Okay, it's all the Ralbag. All the Ralbag. All right, v'anochi ba'ar v'lo eda ma nischabatu kol kach lahamtzi chiyuv ksiva sefer Torah kula. I am a fool, and I don't know why they were so insistent to produce a chiyuv to write the Sefer Torah in its entirety. Acharish Amar should divar Moshe as kol divrei hashir hazos be'oznei ha'am v'yomer lehem simu levavchem l'chol hadvarim asher anochi meid b'chem hayom asher tetzavum es b'nechem lishmar lasas as kol divrei Torah hazos hinei gilsa lanu haTorah ki tachlis ha'mechuven b'ksivas hashir hazos ki lezichron ha'azhara l'shmiras kiyum mitzvos haTorah. So he's saying that it's clear from the pasukim that what God was trying to drill into people was to remember the ashara for keeping the entire Torah. You don't need to warn them about explicitly about writing the entire Torah, right? Right. So if you write a prescription, okay, a receipt. Receipt, yeah. To the sick person, right? That you say, if you don't drink this medicine, then there's going to only be one pace between you and death. Okay. Therefore, I'm telling you, you should write a reminder to be before your eyes constantly, that your life is in the balance. But if you don't take this medicine, who move on mi'atzmo migodol zihirusu al zichron shmias ha'azhara ki in to'elas b'ksivas ha'azhara levada bilti zichron sameh ha'refuas atman. So in other words, if he's saying write a reminder to take the medicine on this page, even though he doesn't say write down this page or like keep this page, it's implicit in saying to write the reminder. Okay. Ki ein hatolas b'ksivas ha'azhara levada bilti zichron sameh ha'refuas atman. Kacha, so too ein to'elas b'ksivas zichron hashir levada bilti zichron ha'torah atma im mitzvoseha. Therefore, there's no point in commanding them to write the shira, which is telling you to remember the Torah, unless you're also remembering the Torah. Amnam l'chol ein anu nitzrachim rak l'dasam mefarshim milas shira kipshuta shiras hazino. So now the mefarshim would just say that it's this shira, that's enough. Amnam, what's lamed nun? Lo nema, lo nira shebemilas shira atma hamuvan bo lo shiras hazino bilvad ki im es kol divrei Torah mi breshis vad le'nei kol Yisrael. Oh, lo nihira. Doesn't make sense to say that this shira itself is a reference to kol Torah kula. Ki gam b'shar makomos matano l'razal shadaitam likro es kol Torah b'shem shira. Amru me'eda. No, maybe it is. Maybe it sounds like he's agreeing with it that you can. Yeah, linear, yeah. So Amru Me'eda Bagad Hadbayom Kara Visar Bishirim Al Levra. Okay, Bazar Shirim Levra Pashta Dekra B'mai Ksivi B'shone L'Talmid She'eno Hagun V'Omer Divrei Torah L'mi She'eno Yodea L'Havin Behem. Okay, so those pasukim which is talking about a song, it's talking about teaching Torah. Kapir Rashi Al Zeh V'chein Amar Reish Lakish Yomam Yitzav Hashem Chaso V'Laila Shiro Imi. My time Yomam Yitzav Hashem Mishum to B'Laila Shiro Imi She'asakti B'Torah B'Laila. Because there's always rayas that they use shira for Torah. Vein Zeh Davar Tema L'Chanos Es Torah B'Shem Shira Ki Sham Shem Shir Shehara Aso Shira V'Zimra Im Shir Neguni Im Shir Divori Ela Shnei Haminim Nikru Kol Echad Shir HaMistayef B'Shem Yashar Shehara Aso Hayashar V'Hashivoi Ki Ashir Haneguni K'Shi. Okay, this is too much. No, we got it. Okay. I'm going to finish it. L'kshi mekubav v'naim l'makablim tzarkshi bo ha'ataka yashara mima'ala l'chavita hasmucha la be'erach haneguni b'lishi yidalagi hamanagin mima'ala l'mala zeu she'enena merub Sefes imarishona v'gam shlo yihye pagan b'charetz v'shlivas. Okay, so he's describing why this is a good mashal for the Torah, right? That people singing in harmony and everything in the Torah is accurate. I just want to get to the upshot if he gets back to the drashah. Zo im zo v'hein be'erach ha'aliyah v'hein be'yirida. Okay, fine, good harmony. V'hein dibur hashiri, also a poem. Hu hamshachas hakolos b'ni'ima uvyofi uvyosha b'lipgima. Vishirim mishulavos zo bezo uvenerachos b'shira v'ketav mitzumtam b'mesila ha'ola beis hashema k'mavur heitev b'divrei I don't know who that is. Shishem shihu mistayef misham yashar al shem hayosher v'hashivoi shebehem hin lefizeh yisod ha'miti hanachon l'chanos haSatorah b'shem shira. Okay, so we have a firm basis for saying that the Torah can be called a shira. Ki Torah bichlala nikreis gam kein sefer hayashar. Yeshua calls it a Sefer Hayashar. Halohi ksuva al Sefer Hayashar. De Targumam Sifra de Oraisa. Va mitzvos bichlala nikra yisharim. Kaksu bikudashim yisharim. Ut amrinan de Sefer Breshis Mishnah Torah nikru Sefer Hayashar. Yire de lav lafuke inach chumashi Torah bezeh. Kol nikra Sefer Hayashar. Ulazeh chal gamkein shem shira al kol chamisha kumshe Torah. Uvmahadura kadma. Kasavnu b'derech acheres la'amis das rabbeinu b'zeh likro es Torah b'shem shira. Okay, fine. So he's saying. So he ends up saying that that you can still say that he's only telling you to write this shira, but it is referring to kol Torah kula because the whole point of shiras hazinu is to warn people what's going to happen if they don't keep the Torah. So implicit in this is a message that you should remember and learn the Torah. So he's not addressing what I thought he was going to address, which is explaining the drashah in a way where like halachically, it flows or whatever. But yeah, okay. So I'm sure someone addresses it, but that's enough for us now. We got to go. Well, no, we don't have to do this, but let's aim to go back to the mitzvos of the king next week. Yeah. Okay. Woo. Rambam Bekius.
I'm trying to